Or 5 minutes in, and you haven't mentioned the reason they lost, which is selfishness. Because you say Jayhawks are one of the best passing teams in America. Guys, they average less than half of an assist more than Arizona does on the season. Arizona, 3 assists in the first half. The reason Arizona lost is they got completely away from their passing game. And they were going hero ball and ISO ball and trying to score one-on-one. And Kansas was not. Kansas passed the ball around, 22 assists, 23 was it they finished with?
22.
Arizona with 3 in the first half. Want the stats? Arizona, 3 assists in the first half on 11 made field goals, 7 assists in the second half on 15 made field goals. The miscommunication on defense, those back screens, Kelvin, are readable, and they were wide open. So the scout had to be there. We know he was going to back screen and throw the ball up for the lobs for the dunks. The first 3 lobs were wide open, right? There was no Arizona defender there. So the communication, we talked pregame about communicating on defense, screen, on your right, that kind of stuff is what leads to not having a wide open back screen lob dunk behind the defense, which is what you're trying to prevent. Any kind of thing going behind your defense, you got to have eyes on that. And secondly, I think they had an attempt. I think when Vesar got a second foul early in the first half really took away. The other big problem I have is Coach Lloyd. I haven't really complained this year. But, Kelvin, I got a problem with the substitutions. They need Anthony Del Orso out there. I understand he turned the ball over twice. He gets pulled. KJ goes in. Deli never comes back in. So he only played the 3 minutes in the first half. Maybe those assist totals are different if you have a shooter, a floor spacer out there on the court, which allows for more driving lanes. But the issue there was they had no shooters on the court. Townsend hit a couple open, sure. But they didn't have any green light shooters. Watch out. There's a shooter over there, is what the Kansas defenders are yelling at each other. That guy wasn't out there on the court because Deli had 2 turnovers in his 3 first half minutes. And the communication on defense. Now, everything you said, Kelvin, about them being spirited and fighting and coming back from that 14-point deficit, obviously, all those things are true. I just think that first half devolved into a lot more one-on-one that we need to see from this team. They don't have the ISO individual NBA level scorers on this team. They just don't. Caleb's in his 5th year because he's not NBA worthy according to scouts. Otherwise, he'd be gone. So when you don't have that, Carter Bryant's a little young. He'll maybe get there one day. KJ's getting his handle super tight. He got some wiggle room on the ISO stuff, Kelvin, there in the first half. Behind the back dribble to get himself open for a little midi. Really nice stuff. But that's not Coach Lloyd basketball. None of that is. And so somewhere the communication broke down along the way. They stopped looking for each other. They stopped running the offense. And that's really what led to that deficit. All credit to the Jayhawks.
Yes.
Senior day, spirited. They don't lose in Phog Allen on senior day. We all know this. And my biggest takeaway, my biggest disappointment is losing track of what got Arizona to this point, which is being one of the best assist teams in the country. Kansas did that tonight. Arizona did not.
And I'll just say this one thing, though. I feel like that Kansas had more to do with that than Arizona. I feel like that if I'm a team and I'm scouting Arizona, the first thing that jumps off the screen at me, J-Dub, is that they have to assist the ball to score. That's where to jump off. That's when they at their best. Am I wrong? So I would deny everybody and force you to have to beat me off the dribble. But I don't think the guys didn't want to pass. I think the defense that they were playing, just like how we were playing Dickinson one-on-one head up and he murdered us, all right? We should have doubled. I thought that's the one thing that I thought should have been adjustment. Now, I know when they did double, he threw it out and somebody knocked down a 3. So they started making shots, so you had to pick your poison, as they say. So, hey, let's try to face up on them and go one-on-one there. So I get it. But they did a better job at that than us. Denying our guys, it was time that Jaden Bradley couldn't even get the ball. Did you see that when they was denying him full court? When he couldn't even get the ball from the out of bounds guy? I just thought that they were doing a great job denying and making it tough. Even on the block a few times where we had a Walker posting up or Vesar, they really collapsed the shoulder, got over and denied the ball. I just felt like it's things that they game plan. I couldn't wait to say, did J-Dub see the way that they were scoring on the out of bounds play? On the baseline out of bounds play, on their offense, we were on defense. Our big man is guarding the ball out of bounds, right? Our 7-footer. Now they put their 7-footer in the middle versus our guard, and they just throwing it over the top. They finished like 10 points right there. 10 points right there, because once they get 2 of those, you adjust back and put your guard back and get your big back on him so they don't get that easy bucket. But they're looking for that against us now because you pretty much know how we're going to play.
I just think there's a counter. If the team's playing the passing lanes and they're trying to take your assists away from you, you fake a pass to the cutter and the ball goes to the corner for an open 3. You can't take away every single pass. And I just think the Arizona players, whether they're not looking for the secondary option. Like, what's a quarterback do, Kelvin? He's not staring down his slot receiver, right? There's reads. And I think that the idea of teams can't take away every pass, credit the Kansas Jayhawks, that's not a great defensive team. They might have played great defense tonight. I'll have to go and review the tape and see how many of those plays had to do with Kansas's extra effort. Maybe those seniors were just super jacked up and they weren't about to leave that building with a loss on senior day and break that 42-year streak. All that being said, it's been a bit of a trend in losses where the Arizona offense breaks down and they kind of stop looking for each other. It's a little too hard to get around screens or whatever it is. And I saw some weave tonight, Kelvin, at the top of the key. Weave. When's the last time we saw weave?